Yo, welcome to the No Limit Hold on. Before I bring you to the audio listening experience that you've been waiting for since the day we returned, back here in the original studio, I want to bring you to where I want you to be mentally, emotionally, maybe even physically if you can reach that level. It's 1997, over 20 years ago if you didn't know. You're at the Spectrum, down South Philly, the Wachovia Spectrum. It's Rumble night. The Royal Rumble's in town, WWE. You're waiting on Stone Cold Steve Austin. You're cracking beers in the parking lot. The opening match, music hits. Here comes the badass Billy Gunn and the road dog Jesse James. But this time, it's us. The No Limit Podcast, also known as the No Limit Podcast, because you're here with two pretty ass white dudes, Any Bull and the final boss, No Limit Eddie. What up?
I was so confident that you were going to lose it after the Billy Gunn. After Billy Gunn, you stopped.
You didn't know?
I was like, you're going to lose it.
Pause for drama.
A dramatic pause. They just dropped off some mail, I think, or you're getting robbed. Oh, is that the lady who was smoking a cigarette the one time? Shout out to throwback to episode 1 or season 1.
Who knows, bro? Got no clue what she's saying.
But yeah, I thought you were gonna lose it there. I'm impressed. I think that might have been your longest intro, your longest monologue.
Like I said, bro.
Something new every week.
I will go up against anybody, any podcaster, anyone.
Agreed.
I'm talking like Joey Diaz, Joe Budden. Anyone, I don't care how famous your podcast is, you will not hit an intro to a podcast. You will not captivate the listener harder than No Limit Eddie.
I think Joey Diaz is the second closest. And Uncle Joey, I love Uncle Joey. Shout out Joey Diaz. Big fan. But I think that you got him beat by a mile. I think it's the best intro in podcast.
100%.
And that's why the No Limit Podcast is better than every other podcast you listen to. And got something that's a cut above the rest, if you will.
Chop them up. Then you hit the topics and we're headed right into it.
So if you're new to the podcast, at this point, it might not be initiated. 3 new topics every week. We pick something random that we want to talk about, something in the news, something funny, something that's been on our minds, whatever. This week we're going to talk about...
Christmas.
We're going to talk about Brent Christmas. What's his name?
Brent Christensen.
Brent Christensen. Also, if you're new to the podcast, I notoriously forget the topics right before... Brent Christensen. Are we going to talk about Cuomo?
We're going to talk about the Cuomo brothers.
Yeah, that piece of shit. We're going to talk about him.
Our Halloween fit.
And our Halloween fit.
And, should me and Any Bull be the Cuomo brothers for Halloween?
And just
probably not after what we're going to talk about the guy.
Nah, depends what kind of party you're going to. If we're going to get canceled at the party, you can't go.
Feel that.
But if you live a little more free, it's going to be funny. But, and then what was the last one? We're going to do dating?
Yeah.
What about it was will dating ever go back the same as always like Tinder and shit gonna just
I feel like
over?
Dating apps could be the new thing going into the future.
I mean, they've been around a while, but
people's main source of finding new people to hang out with. And how can people be cool with that when they've just heard the other 2 topics that we're gonna do before we get there? So let's start with Brent Christensen. Sorry, if you heard about this, it's gonna be old news because it happened a few years ago. But if you haven't heard about it, and
this happened a few years ago?
And you're interested in crime, drama stuff, if you watch like crime TV shows, you're definitely going to want to hear it. So first of all, shout out to JCS Criminal Psychology on YouTube, one of the best channels. Just what he does is breaks down interrogations of people who committed heinous, serious crimes and gives his own commentary on it. Lets you watch the full interrogation. We'll pause it, give a little commentary. Great channel. Also has a secondary channel called simply JCS, which is where I found this video about Brent Christensen. So like I told Any Bull before the podcast, all I gave him was that Brent Christensen is a man who picked up a young lady who was waiting at a bus stop after she was sent off her college campus to sign a lease for a new apartment. She waited at the wrong bus stop, missed her bus, went to the correct bus stop, was waiting for the bus. Brent Christensen pulls up in his car, sees her, circles the block, picks her up. That's where you got.
That's
as much as you
left off
got.
with me, yeah.
Okay. So what are you thinking about it right now? What's going through your mind when you hear that?
Boom. She's dead. She's dead and he's missing.
Okay.
Or I don't know, but that's my first thing. She's dead, he's missing. If you see her story, it never ends up well. You know what I mean? It's always got that grim feeling to it. It sounds like he just offered her a ride.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know her, spun the block, and was like, "You need a ride?" Like just like trying to lure her in. That's what it sounds like to me.
Another crazy thing, sidebar about it, the girl's name was, I believe, Ying Ying. Like the most stereotypical Chinese name
Ying Ying?
that you could ever think of. Like it almost sounds made up. Her name was Ying Ying.
Yeah, like a movie like stereotype name.
So he picks her up. Yes, you're 100% correct. Let the cat out of the bag. Ying Ying turns up missing. So the thing about his car was that it had a dent in the hubcap. So they could only see the car on the surveillance footage. They couldn't see who was driving it. So they identified all these types of cars, which I believe was a Saturn something. They identified all these cars in the area. They saw that the one on the camera had a dent in the hubcap, and then they matched it up with Brent Christensen's car having a dent in the hubcap. Now think, that's such a simple thing that they were able to find him on, right? Yeah. Now as the story goes on, you're going to see how smart this guy was, and you're going to think, how the fuck did he let something like that slip by if he was really as smart as he is? So they bring him in for questioning, and the whole basis of these JCS videos is that he shows you how the interrogators start off with like simple questioning and simple tactics, kind of making the guy feel comfortable and try to get information to come out of them, even though their interview's voluntary and they don't think necessarily that they're the prime suspect yet. Right. And then JCS, the guy breaks it down.
Now, without the dent, I mean, I don't know if this is a spoiler. Without the dent, would he have gotten away with it?
Dude, probably. Because wait till we get to the very end.
I just wanted to know.
He probably would have gotten away with it. Because they bring him to the interrogation room. They question him for a long time. He realizes that they have his car picking her up. They eventually give up more and more information, which is their tactic. Like, when they get enough information from him, they let out some more information that they were withholding from him to try to let him know, like, we got you. Like, you ain't getting the fuck out of it.
Right.
So they basically tell him, we know she didn't get out of your car. They're trying to get him to admit that he did something with her because he was
crazy.
The last
like a lot
person.
of the time, like they have no basis. They're like, we know you did this.
Yeah.
We know that you didn't let her out of the car. And
but that's the thing. They don't ever directly say, we know you did this, but they do say things like, we know she didn't get out of the car. Just like that. Turns out, Brent Christensen, throughout this examination, find out he has a master's in physics. Right? He's going through problems with his wife where he's talking about...
How old is this guy?
30-something years old.
Okay.
Where
white
he's
guy?
talking about... Yeah, white guy.
Okay, so the white 37-year-old.
Yeah. Crazy serial killer dude.
Yeah, it's usually when you kill somebody.
His wife just went on a vacation to New Hampshire with another guy. He's out driving around, admittedly driving around, he said, looking for girls, right? So he's in a weird type of relationship, claims they're in an open relationship, him and his wife. Turns out later it's not even his wife, it was his girlfriend. He just kept referring to her as his wife the entire time. And end of the interrogation, I'll just fast forward you all the way through it, they let him go because he continuously, when they would get to the point of saying, you know, where did you drop her off? Where is she? They just let him go. They
had nothing.
They had nothing. Because whenever they got to that point, he would just go like this.
When did this happen?
A couple years ago. I'm not sure exactly. I just heard the story yesterday, and it's close.
But it's not
enough.
like it was like 1960.
No, it was just
like technology.
It was just a few years ago. Yeah.
Oh, you said they got him on camera with a dent.
So this dude on some movie shit, he attends the rally that is to find the girl, Ying Ying. He attends the rally and like stands in the back. He expresses on the news like that he feels for the girl's family, like, but he doesn't know what happened to her.
Wait, he gets interviewed on the news out of everybody?
I'm pretty sure.
Wow.
Or at least they said he expressed that. I don't know if it was him on the news. I don't know. But he was at the rally, right? So police get his girlfriend, who claimed to be his wife, to wear a wire in his house. He gets drunk, admits to her everything about killing the girl, and she's wearing a wire. says that his claim was, and if you've enjoyed the story up until now, but you don't want to hear the brutal details, skip forward about 30 seconds. He said that he tried to choke her to death for 10 minutes, and when he let her go, she like started fighting. He was so surprised that she was still alive after choking her for 10 minutes. Then he stabbed her and hit her in the head with something heavy. She didn't die, and then he said he decapitated her because she didn't die. After this, he
That's
also...
That's a white 37-year-old for you.
After this, he also claims, he says to his wife on the recording, that he's killed 12 other people, and this is the first girl that's ever produced evidence leading back to him, that the other 12 have gone completely unscathed. To finish it off before you give your full response on him, and this is why what did you ask me earlier that I said that he would have gotten away with it?
Yeah.
Because to this day, her remains have not been found.
Okay.
So even though they knew he did it, they knew where he did it at his house, the location, they still have not found their remains. And obviously nothing ever came of the other 12. And I just believe that if you could do that, kill one person,
dude,
they know where you did it, they don't find her, you could do 12 other ones and nothing could happen.
I asked you, I said, if he didn't have the dent in his car, would he have gotten away with it? And you were like, yeah, he would have. Dude, the first person they wiretapped, he fucking spilled his heart to.
But if he didn't have a dent in his car, they wouldn't have brought him in specifically for questioning. That's the only reason that they knew the Saturn on camera was his. They couldn't see him inside the car.
That makes sense. Okay.
So they would have just been bringing in everybody who owned that Saturn.
Dude, what is that illness where you get off to murdering people? Like that's your high. Like that's your fix.
Well, dude, he was such you gotta think, masters in physics, how smart of a dude you gotta be.
Yeah.
And and that's another example of the line between like being smart and being insane. It's so thin.
What's his name?
It's so thin. Brent Christensen. He's now he's serving the rest of his life in jail. The judge hit him with a zinger on the way out the door. He said he could have got the death penalty or life in jail, and he said the verdict today of you getting life in prison over the death sentence it shows the humanity of the jury, not the judge of your character. It was about the humanity of the jury, not about your personal character being the reason that you don't die today. Hit him with a zinger.
You think life in jail is worse or the death penalty? What would you rather? If you were facing something like that, say No Limit Eddie went off the rails, man. No limit one
You
day.
always got to take life in jail. You have to.
Do you?
You got to take life in jail over the death penalty, bro. It's life or death. Don't
What if
matter
you're
where
48?
you're at.
What if you're 48 years old?
Huh?
If you're 48 years old, would you take the death penalty or life in prison?
Well, what do you think's going to happen after you get the death penalty? It's just over.
What do you think's going to happen after 48?
If I was 86, I would take life over death penalty.
Yeah, because if you're 86, it's like, all right, I only got a few more years to kick out. No one's going to bother an old man.
Oh, you're saying 48 because you're getting kind of old, but
Yeah,
you're
'cause
probably
you're
going to spend
older.
at least 30 years in
You've
jail.
already lived the best years of your life, right? Like, arguably, they're the best years of your life, your younger years, because you're not fucking old. So you already lived those. You're about to be 50. You might know you got a bummy heart. And you're like, all right, fuck it. I'm not going to sit in prison. But you're saying today, like, if you were facing it right now, you would take life in prison over anything. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe, I guess I would. Just read a bunch of books and fucking do curls all day.
But back to Brent Christensen, bro.
Fuck him.
I want to talk about the line between insane smarts and being insane.
Because you're a thinker. Dumb people don't do things.
The only person capable of doing something like that is somebody that smart. Yeah. The only person capable of really killing 12 people,
dude, all serial killers
and
are
never
smart.
Being questioned one time until the 13th one, you gotta be a genius.
Yeah. No, he's for sure smart. He knows what he's doing. That's what's so sick about it. Is that like he's got murdering people so down to a science that he can completely just make people disappear out of thin air. Gone. No trace of them. No trace of how he did it, who did it. Nothing. He just literally eliminates people. They're just gone one by one. That's why it's sick. You know, I mean, getting killed is unfortunate, but if you kill somebody, you're most likely going to get found out pretty easily, just as easily as they found out, yeah, his car's got a dent in it. You know, that's such an easy thing to find somebody for killing somebody.
Dude,
for
and on the tape,
you can't get away with anything.
On the tape, he was saying some crazy shit about how he wanted to do more because it was his legacy.
Yeah, bro. See, that dude I don't know how your brain warps like that. Did you think he was always like that, or like it developed? Like, are you always in that serial killer mindset, or does it develop over time?
I don't know. He had a master's in physics and he didn't have a job, so I'd be pretty fucking pissed too.
He didn't have a job because he's a fucking psycho?
Probably something to do with it.
Yeah. Fuck him.
But it was weird because in the episode, there's many of these JCS videos, and this was the first interrogation I saw where I could clearly tell that the dude who was being interrogated was leaps and bounds ahead of the guys interrogating him mentally. Like, he was so, without being prepared for what they were going to say, he was so well prepared in how he responded that they had to let him go, even though it was clear as day that he did the murder. Had to let him go to the point where he then showed up at the rally for the girl and nobody, like, questioned him.
That's nuts. I think that's like murderer's karma. If they show up to the scene of the crime again after they did it, they get caught.
Well, he would have got caught anyway because they still were going to get his girlfriend.
But like, it sets the motion into the fucking universe. So like, yeah, he goes back to the scene of the crime, or he goes back and does something like that, where he's like, I think that's like the murderer karma.
How his mind works to be like,
I think all murderers actually get karma one way or another.
Well, if I didn't commit the murder, would I show up to the memorial?
What if he didn't show up and he didn't get caught?
I don't know. I feel like he made a mistake.
Never know.
He had a flaw in his thinking there, because if you didn't commit the murder but you were a prime suspect, I don't think you should go to the memorial.
Maybe he went maybe he went thinking like, man, if I show up to the memorial, they'll never think it's me. They'll never get me.
That is probably exactly what he thought.
Fuck him.
It left me wondering whether he really did the 12 other murders or not, but I think he did. He probably did.
He probably did. Unless he was just gassing himself up. Maybe he did like another one.
If he stayed in that area to do them, then they probably could have linked it up to other people who've gone missing.
Maybe after the fact they did.
Yeah.
You know?
You know what I like? I think we should keep up a running thing on the podcast. Maybe every episode that one of the topics has to just be a person. Like last week we started off with Michael Phelps. This week we go to Brent Christensen.
I'm just telling like a backstory.
It's just no limit.
Just like an interesting fucking story about somebody.
Like a backstory in a person, what you think about them.
Every episode
I kind of brought this one to you today, so like you got to bring the next one, and I got to be unknowing about it.
To give you a little teaching lesson, I can do that. That's what it's like. It's like learning something.
Yeah.
But it's no limit.
Brent Christensen.
Do you want to talk about fucking Andrew Cuomo?
Andrew?
You want to go into the
Well, who's Andrew? Who's Chris?
Dude, don't fuck with me. Come on, dog. Don't fuck with me right now.
Who's Andrew Cuomo? Who's Chris Cuomo?
Andrew Cuomo's the old dude. Chris Cuomo's his younger brother.
I think you're right.
Right?
Who you trying to be for Halloween?
I'm going to be Chris.
You're going to be the young boy. Yeah, you actually do have the same haircut as him.
I'll have to be Chris.
Yeah, you do. And if I grow my hair back long and do the slick back, I could be Andrew.
But like that's.
But it's fucked up because of what we're about to talk about Andrew, like that I gotta be him. That's corny.
Yeah, but you're no limit Eddie.
Let's keep it a bean though. If Andrew did it, Chris did it too.
No, not me.
It's in the genetics.
He probably
anyway,
did.
if you've been fucking sleeping under a rock for the last month, Andrew Cuomo, governor of New York.
That's what governor of New York.
Caught red fucking handed. I don't know, just being a perv.
Dude, he just looks like he's.
That's what most of these old dudes are. Like, come on. That's what most of them are.
You know, the craziest thing about it is, Andrew Cuomo's guilty. But like you said, if he's guilty, Chris Cuomo's guilty. And the other news anchor's guilty.
Yeah.
And the other senator's guilty. And the other senator's guilty. It just, this shit runs rampant. Why is it all over Hollywood? Why is it all over politics? If you got big power, big fame, a big head, bro, this is how you act. Not for everyone, but if you're prone to that already, you're gonna go so extreme with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're a fucking perv and you're like a sick dude, you're gonna go.
Once you get that power, it's only gonna exponential growth
up 1,000%. You know what I mean? Then you're on drugs and you're like, there's just so much shit going on, dude. You're like partying on yachts. It's just like it's a whole different thing. And my thing about it too
is that what you're saying is true, and when it's not the spotlight being shined on them, they can really get in front of another camera and microphone and talk, not even necessarily talk down on, but just look the American people or whoever's watching, just anybody in the face and say, for instance, what Cuomo said something about the guy Harvey Weinstein. I don't know exactly what it is. Yeah. These are the uninformed opinions on an Illinois podcast. We don't got fucking quotes for you. No. We just know it happened. Probably found it on TikTok.
Yeah.
So he said something about when Harvey Weinstein was getting all his charges, he had some comment to make. Knowing, like, this shit didn't all happen last month. It's been going on his whole life. Knowing that he's done what he's done. And probably knowing that it could come out eventually. He can look into a camera and talk down about Harvey Weinstein.
Yep.
If that was me, my insides would combust and be like, oh, I did it too.
Dude,
I wouldn't be able to get in front of the camera and lie like that.
That is how all of these people act, though. Every time. Like, when Harvey Weinstein got taken down, all these actors and actresses were saying, like, how could this be? Like, he's sick. And they're like tweeting, but like they've known about it for years.
Definitely have.
They've known, and like other actors and all say it. They're like, everyone knew about this. Everyone knew. So why are you now acting like you didn't know just for like the social media clout of being on the right side? And then people who are usually that outspoken about it, like fucking Andrew Cuomo was, they always get caught for having something worse or like something similar. They're all playing the game. It's just like some people must think if I go against it, like if I publicly go against it and hate it, it can't be me. Why would I do it?
Yeah.
I said on the
news. And
that's
the mentality it is. It's the can't be me mentality.
Right. They're going to believe anything I say because you have that big head.
That's one of the worst mentalities you can get caught up in. Same example of exactly what we just said. Biden had something to say about Cuomo. Was asked a question directly, I believe, if the allegations against Mr. Cuomo are true, would you call for not resignation?
How could it not be resignation?
No. Yeah, he wants him to resign, but they weren't asking that. They were saying, if the allegations are true, would you call for whatever impeachment is? But I don't think it's called impeachment when you're the governor. I think it's called something else.
Uninformed opinions.
But his answer, he kind of beat around the bush. I think he might have even ignored the question at first. He said, I think he should resign, which is like the way out. The same way when like a cop does something bad, rather than firing him, they give him the option to resign. Whatever. Same thing like that. Government job, similar order of operations. Wants him to resign. And then they were asking him, well, if he doesn't resign, would you call for this impeachment type thing?
Just fucking. That's
and
what
he said, well, let's just take this one step at a time. Let's see if he resigns first. He's trying to wait for some time to go by, and hopefully people forget about it.
Dies down in the media and the hype.
Yeah.
And, you know, for as much, like, as a public, he's the governor of New York, and he was one of the most outspoken political figures over the past, you know, however long COVID's been going on, 16 months, whatever it is. He's been one of the most outspoken political figures in the news all over the place, talking and condemning other people and saying like this is a disgrace and all that. You know, he's been very vocal, and he's got all this shit that he's doing wrong. Why aren't they all fucking doing it? He's the governor of New York, and he's doing it. Harvey Weinstein's the fucking owner of Miramax or whatever, and he's like, this shit runs so rampant that literally everybody can get taken down, I'm sure, to some degree.
Yeah, dude. To say an example that I know of personally, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna say, obviously not gonna say nobody's like name, But look at it from this point of view. There is someone who was running for some type of position in Philadelphia, let's just say that about him. Somebody who we know works for them in the offices, claims that, in a joking manner, claims, oh, he's got like 15 girlfriends. They're always calling, and we got to lie for him and all this, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes it gets looked at it from that spectrum, right? Yeah. And then all of a sudden, when one of those 15 girlfriends comes forward and says, touch me inappropriately, and another one does, and then another one does, and another one does,
Domino
it gets flipped.
effect.
It gets flipped completely. But people aren't looking at it that way from the very beginning. That's why it takes so long for this shit to come out. And that's why maybe, and what I'm getting at is that's why maybe what we talked about, they will be willing to get on camera and get on a microphone and say something bad about someone else who did the same things, because they don't think that what they're doing is wrong in the moment.
Yeah.
And then when it all comes out and all the facts are laid out on the table, it seems wrong.
I don't know. It's just a crazy ass hypocrisy. And he should resign. Like, that, without question, he should resign. And the dude should probably be in jail. That's just like, that's assault after assault after assault after assault. It's like, I don't know, I would call that a criminal. You know what I mean? He's the governor of New York. And a beloved governor of New York to some people. Even around the country, because of people who are like, you know, on the side of COVID and preventing COVID and stuff. Like, they look up to him and they look up to those people. So, I don't know.
We could either
never meet your heroes.
We could either beat the Cuomo brothers for Halloween or challenge them to a tag team match.
Fuck, Backstreet Brawl. I want a backstage brawl for that one.
Let's give Chris Cuomo his moment to shine, because we're talking about the bros, not just the one dude. He's in the media now because in a bar, somebody called him Fredo. I think it's like a character from some Italian movie.
Yeah, okay.
Which I probably should have seen, but had never seen. Like all the like top-notch Italian movies. Like, I've seen a lot of Italian movies, but all the top-notch ones, I gotta admit, have not seen. Like Goodfellas, did not see it. Godfather, had not seen it. I'll tell you what. Had not seen 1, 2, or 3.
I've never seen Godfather, so I'm right there with you on that. And to be honest with you, I really don't have an interest in seeing it right now.
Dude, it's so long.
But
and it's
Goodfellas
so
is a movie you must watch. Like, after the podcast, like, you have to sit down and watch Goodfellas.
How long is it?
It's like 2.5 hours.
I'll take it.
It's longer.
Godfather's like 3 hours every time.
And I don't know. I'm sure Godfather's a fantastic movie. I'm sure it's amazing. Right now, I'm not saying I'll never watch it, but right now I can name a million movies I'd rather see.
Yeah, negative interest in it.
I'd rather watch a Suicide Squad tonight. You know what I mean? Like,
I heard it was good. Suicide Squad.
I heard good things about Suicide Squad. That's why I'm gonna watch.
Is it on HBO Max?
Yeah, that's why I'm gonna watch.
Yeah, okay.
I'm just gonna sit at home. I'm not gonna go to the theaters and sit.
But so somebody called Chris Cuomo in a bar, called him Fredo. It's like a derogatory term.
Who called me Fredo?
And he he got in the dude's face and was like screaming at him, and was ready to fight him. Chris Cuomo was about it. He would be about the backstage brawl. We might get our ass beat by Chris Cuomo.
And see, you know what? And I'm sure there's people giving Chris Cuomo shit. I don't really know too much about Chris Cuomo. But people are probably giving him shit for acting like that.
Yeah.
But like, and that's only because he's a public figure. People are gonna you shouldn't act that way. You should be above that. But like, if you're man-to-man reality, ground yourself in reality. If someone is going to say something to you in a bar, they are accepting the fact that literally anything can happen. If you don't look at it that way, then you're not looking at life correctly. If you insult somebody, you deserve anything that happens in the situation. Don't act like that. Simple as that.
Yeah. That was one of the bases of No Limit that we talked about.
Yeah.
That you gotta be, a very no limit concept is that when you choose to start a problem with someone, you can't only expect there to be your ceiling. You got to understand that the other person, now that they're involved in this conflict too, they can blast through your suspected ceiling of the situation and just take it to a way higher
And now
level.
you got to meet me or you're going to fucking walk away.
Exactly.
Or you're going to punk out. You know what I mean? And that's what happened. Chris Cuomo went, bang, fuck you.
And he really did punk the dude out too.
Yeah. Good for him. That's probably a good feeling. He probably got laid that night.
Good for you, Chris, but I don't know if it's going to work on me. All these people we got beefs with, bro. Second instant beef of the season. They're Cuomo.
The Cuomo bros. This is a good list.
Who was first? No, because now this season we should keep a serious track of it.
All right.
First week
we should get like a
was
board.
all instant
Get
beefs.
some kind of board.
Everyone doing a podcast on Zoom.
Anybody who are still doing podcasts on Zoom. It's so corny.
Link up. Get yourself a nice living room, a nice window to look out.
Be in the room.
Some 3/4 curtains to block the sun, but you can still see the window.
New curtains. Blue. Everybody likes the color blue.
Yeah. That's the thing. My side's blue as fuck.
We're like real blue. There's a lot of blue. My blue shirts, my shorts are real fucking
The
blue.
way I think of this set is like my
blue.
side is the blue side, yours is the red side because of that.
Well, I kind of fucked that up today. But like Rocky's blue, like the Sixers ball.
It's like the blue pill and the red pill because me and Any Bull broke out of the Matrix a long time ago.
Yes.
Oh, oh my God.
All right, what's the next topic?
It's another unlimited segment. There's so much stuff with this podcast that no matter whatever happens with it, will never be done by any other podcast.
Yeah.
But,
I can't wait for when people start backlogging our podcast, like when we're on episode 154. You know what I mean? People just start ripping them, but like all the podcasts, like in episode 60, we're still doing the same dumb shit, like from episode 40, and like, yeah. That's going to be cool.
Episode fucking 60, you still don't know the topics?
Yeah, I'm like, it'll be episode 120. I still know the topics. Then they go back, they get to episode 38. I still didn't.
So the last topic, do you know it or what?
Yeah, it's dating. And if it's ever going to go back to the dating that we knew of like years ago.
Yeah, so how about with the two situations we just started the podcast off with? How you ladies feeling about meeting strangers online?
I'm sure not great after that. But like, it's kind of weird though, because we understand dating as like what we saw in movies and TV shows because we were kids, like before, like when we were seeing that stuff. Now that we're like getting older to start like dating, like the past like 10 years or so, you know what I mean? Like it's all been technology based, but we grew up not having that because technology didn't exist that way. But now everything funnels through your phone, and that's how everybody you know almost. That's how you met them. So I think not only is it the future, like it's the way of dating now, by and large, and it's just going to be getting bigger and bigger and bigger until it's only like that. I think. Like it'll go on forever so long. I know I'm going on forever on this. It'll go on forever so long.
I started the podcast with a 5-minute monologue. Go ahead.
It'll eventually just be the only way you date. Yeah. And that would be like the year 2300 when humans are just real weird.
So, is dating ever going to go back to the way it was? I think the quick answer is just no.
No, I want to give like a longer form
What
answer.
is it going to be going to the future? I feel like the way that it is now has to be updated. And it will be because people will think in better ways. But I just think the swiping thing and just the culture of that it's kind of just for fucking is not going to lead to too many long-term
Tinder is a hilarious concept because it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like that's if you're looking for that, you go on Tinder and it's literally I think she's hot, I think she's not. You know what I mean? And they're doing the same thing. So it's literally it's fair. It's cruel.
It's called right down the line. No special guest referees.
Nothing. It's just this is it. We matched. We know why we matched. Message or don't. That's it. So I do kind of like that that's available because there are things like if you're like 33 and hurting. And you're lonely as shit. You go on eHarmony. Like I love dogs and books, and like you're really putting yourself out there for love. But
Long
like
walks
Tinder's just
beach.
like Tinder, yeah. Like you're just looking to fuck, straight up.
You know what I think's a hot take on it that maybe could happen? Maybe dating apps won't be able to break out of that cycle that they are just places to look for somebody to fuck. But what it will create is a culture where the first person you meet in a real life situation, you just automatically fall in love with. Because you've been so used to just meeting these people that you meet off the phone based off pictures. You fuck them. There's no connection, no nothing. You move on. You feel kind of weird about it because it's not like the natural way. That when you meet somebody at the coffee shop and you guys hit it off, you want to marry them right there.
You think so?
That could happen. Because the way that it is now, you're so deprived of the
That would be
natural,
hilarious.
instinctive way of doing things that the first time it happens that way for you, it's going to feel euphoric. Like,
You know
you
what?
ain't going to want to leave that person from that day forward.
Dude, you know what I'm feeling? Third instant beef of the season.
Damn. All right,
People
give
who
it to
were
me.
on Tinder, like who put in their bios, not looking for a fuck. I'm looking for a real thing. Get out of here, dog. Get the fuck out of here. You are so
What are you doing
full of shit.
You came to the wrong club.
You're either in the wrong place or you're a dead liar.
You need to get on eHarmony.
Yeah, you better be on eHarmony. That shit. You are not on. You cannot tell me that you're on Tinder looking for
I
a
feel like
relationship.
that would be a good thing. Like, you could match with somebody like that on purpose just to message them and say, you need to get on eHarmony with this bullshit.
Maybe that's a good fucking way in. Maybe they drop that whole bullshit right then and there, and they're like, oh, never mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, third instant beef of the season. Tally it up. People who are on Tinder who are looking to date. Fuck out of here. Fuck off.
Imagine taking somebody you met from Tinder on more than 3 dates before fucking them.
Yeah. No. I could not imagine that. People do it, though.
If
People
the
do
world
it.
is going the way you said that it's going to be all through dating
Pauls
apps,
don't have to do that.
Pauls.
Yeah, Pauls don't gotta worry about that. It's not a Paul problem. Paul problem.
Chill, Cuomo. You're like, yeah, all these girls like me. I just walk right in, grab their ass. They like it.
What did he say, bro? Trump was like, I just start kissing them. I just start kissing. Like he was going off, bro. He was feeling himself, dude. Like, could you imagine? That's gotta suck so bad. Those poor girls who are just like, they're young, they're like trying to like, you know, mingle with like a cool crowd, and Donald Trump comes up and just starts grabbing them and kissing. That is terrifying. I feel for that.
I just start kissing them. I just start kissing.
Bro, he
Bro.
was feeling himself. He called it locker room talk. He was having like the all-time locker room talk.
If you can just like look at it, if you can look at it from a no limit eye, like I really think that that's the best way to describe it. Just like what our brand is, and like if you just look at Trump with that in mind, kind of just like a carefree, like shit's gonna happen,
Yeah.
like, you know, everything's gonna be all right. Fuck what's going on right now. Like, he's just a funny ass dude.
Dude,
He's one of the funniest characters like that exists.
Regardless to how you look at it, he's obviously saying some heinous shit that shouldn't have been said. You know, he was out of line for sure.
But there's no way you can't look at it and laugh.
That is one of the funniest videos on the internet, period.
What are you doing if you match with Donald Trump for real on Tinder?
Certain girls are taking the bag, certain girls are definitely not.
You think him and Melania matched on Tinder?
Melania hates him, I can tell you that.
They matched on Tinder, that's why.
Yeah, probably. Or something like it. They were set up somehow.
This girl I used to go to school with, she was repping Bumble heavy every single day.
Isn't Bumble the same thing though as Tinder? It's like it's a fuck app.
Sort of, but Bumble's more like eHarmony where you can fill in more.
But dude, you should be on
Characteristics
eHarmony
about
for
yourself.
that. You know what I mean?
Actually, Bumble's brand, like their brand differentiator is that they say they're meant for you to make friends just as much as it's meant for you to make like love relationships. You can put that you're only searching for friends, I think, and not anything like
That's
that.
even worse.
Well, you got instant beef with those people, but that's where they gotta go so they don't go to Tinder. And
I
fuck
also
with your
think that
vibe.
like I don't like, and I feel like girls do this more than guys. Guys definitely do it, but I think it's more of like a girl thing. Like they're going out looking for a boyfriend at all times. You know what I mean? Guys
So,
definitely.
I
Guys
wouldn't
definitely
agree
do.
with you 100%.
No. I'm not saying all girls. I'm saying by and large, it's more of a girl thing to go about it that way.
You're hitting up the wrong places.
No.
For real, and I'm not saying I'm in those places where bitches are just looking to fuck, but you could definitely find places that they are.
Oh no, they exist. I'm not saying they don't exist. I'm saying by and large, maybe it's a stereotype, but it's more of a girl thing to do to look for a stable relationship where guys don't think about that. Girls' brains mature faster. They understand things like that quicker. They want to settle down quicker. Like, that's just how their minds work. It's just how it is. Where guys are, they delay things or I don't know. I don't know what it is about it. But I don't know. Now I don't even know where I was going with this. Fuck me all up.
Dude, I don't even give a fuck. We're pushing this topic across today because I know that you care about it, and we'll brush on it quick. Maybe if we feel like the fans are interested in it more than we previously thought, we'll hit it up again next week. But I gotta talk about the WWE because we started talking about Trump. That gets me thinking about Vince McMahon.
That was a great feud.
Just another classic old head. And real quick, I just want to talk about the fact that WWE is just releasing all their stars because what they're going to start doing is bringing in people like Jake Paul or internet stars to sell events.
You are... Now, I don't know if you came to this conclusion on your own or if you read this on something, but you are 100% absolutely right.
I know. Recently, big news was that they released a bunch of popular.
Oh, I know. I know the release. I'm saying this is going to be the reason why.
Yeah,
they
already had one.
It's going to become less of a true wrestling program and more of like a wrestling for YouTube and online entertainment sake. 150%.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want real wrestling, you're going to go to places like NXT or not NXT, AEW.
AEW.
Yeah,
Bro.
Stuff like that. Is TNA still in operation?
Nah, not as that name.
TNA was a good thing for a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that WWE's just they're going because dude, their main audience is children.
But I don't want to go too hard on it. We're just wrapping up the episode here.
Yeah, I know.
I don't want to go nuts.
I just wanted to tell you that.
I just wanted to brush on that the WWE that me and Eddie Bull formerly knew.
Dude, they just released Bray Wyatt.
What I went back to with our intro is no longer. They
just released Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt is has one of the coolest gimmicks of the past 15 years. Bray Wyatt was sick. He definitely I would tune in sometimes and be like, yeah, Bray Wyatt's cool as shit.
Yeah.
For sure.
I wanted to watch it just for the entrance.
And he was good in the ring. He could talk. He was good in the ring. I actually fuck with Bray Wyatt a lot. And how could you release talent like that? What reason would you have to release? Wow, I wonder if that's gonna get picked up. It's starting to fucking lightning bolt outside.
All right, guys, and the lightning bolt just knocked out our electricity. That's been it for... Nah, we're just kidding, but that has been it for No Limit Podcast, Episode 40, Season 3, Episode 2, The Endless Season. See yous next week. Peace.